Alright everybody, let's get out textbook 3. Textbook 3, we will open up at page 42. Page 42, textbook 3. Is everybody ready? Good. So today we will work through some general knowledge questions, facts about the world. So I went and I got all the facts for us on Google. So let's read the first world fact. What is the population in the world today? What is the population in the world today? What do you think? Would you say there's 3 billion people in the world? Are there 5 billion people in the world? Or are there 7 billion people in the world? What do you think? Let's look. So here we have the world counter. So at this moment there is 7,880,335,555 people at that second. So here we can see the births today, and here's the deaths for the day. People dying versus people getting born. You will see there is almost twice as many people getting born each day than there are dying. So, how many people is the population? There are 7 billion. 7 billion people. What will the population be in the world in 2050? So by the year 2050, how many people will there be in the world? So this is 30 years from now, or 29 years from now. How many people do you think there will be? So by the current rate people are getting born, the estimation of people by the year 2050 will be 9,735,033,990. So the estimation of the population by the year 2050, if it keeps growing like it does now, there will be over 9 billion people in the world. That is a lot of people. 9 billion. So question number 3. How many children in the world live in poverty? So what does poverty mean if you live in poverty? It means you don't have your basic needs. You don't have food, you don't have water to drink, you don't have clothing, you don't have anything to wear, you don't have a house to live in. So this is how many children in the world live in poverty. What do you think? This is really sad. What do you think? How many children? It shows that in 2020, 1 out of 6 children in the world, so 1 out of 6 children in the world live in poverty. That makes the total amount 356 million children worldwide don't have enough food or water to drink. They don't have a safe place to stay, and they don't have clothes to wear. 356 million children. That is a lot and needs to change. So, how many children in the world live in poverty? We have 100 million, 500 million, and a billion. So, we are closer to 500 million. So, let's choose B. Now, we come to a crazy question. How many 5 to 14-year-olds in the developing world work for a living? That means children your age, working in factories, making clothing, making shoes, canning food, doing real life work, sometimes even working in mines, digging holes in the ground for diamonds, gold. So 5 to 14 years old. Can you imagine working your whole life? Let's see. Do you think it's 50 million, 100 million, or 150 million? They estimate that there is a total of 152 million children. 152 million children working. Child labor globally. It is 64 million girls and 88 million boys. So just to write the number down for you so you can see. So that is 88 and 6 zeros. 88 million boys and 64 million girls working in the world. So, how many 5 to 14-year-olds in the developing world work for a living? It is 150 million. That's crazy. That's a crazy amount of children. How many children get no elementary education? So how many children can't go to school? Is it 50 million, 75 million, or 100 million? Let's see. So today, education remains an inaccessible right for millions of children around the world. More than 72 million children of primary education age are not in school. 72 million children can't go to school. 72 million. So what's the closest number we have? 75. B. 75 million children can't go to elementary school. And then, very sad as well, what percentage of illnesses in the world is caused by dirty drinking water? Is it 20%, 40%, or 80%? Now let's think this through. So water is our most needed basic need to live. You can go for over 45 days without food and not die. You can go only 3 days without water and then you will die. You can even die in only 1 day if it's too hot and you don't have any water to drink. So you would think people would look after their water more carefully. You would think people would keep the water more clean. The United Nations have seen water-related diseases responsible for 80% of all illnesses, deaths in the developing world. 80%. That is an insane amount. So 80% of all illnesses in the world are caused by dirty drinking water. Our most basic need, just water. 80% of people get ill and some of them die because of dirty water. That is a lot. So let's see in this class. If we say 1 in 6 children live in poverty, we go Ariel is 1, Benjamin 2, Bruce 3, Cindy 4, Ethan 5, Eric 6. So Eric should live in poverty. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 1 in 6, that means almost 2 children in this class is supposed to be in poverty. I'm not saying Eric doesn't have money. It doesn't work that way. It's just a reminder to think about. 80% illnesses, so 80% of this class. We have 11. What is 80% of 11? So the whole only two students in the class wouldn't get sick from the drinking water. Only 2 students out of this class won't get sick. Can you see how crazy these numbers are? Okay, let's move on. So today we will be reading. Read global issues. For each of the 3 topics, decide which statement is a fact and which is opinion. So when it's a fact, it's something that has been researched. You have percentages and numbers showing that it is true. If it is only an opinion, opinion is something you just say by yourself. So for instance, I would say, I like red. Red is the best color. But that is only my opinion. You may think pink or green or black is the best color. So it's each person's opinion. There's not a number on it. But if I tell you that 90% of red cars get pulled over by cops, that is a fact because we're using percentages. So we will read the 4 topics and see which ones are opinion and which ones are fact. And number 3, are you surprised by any of the facts in the text? Why? Do you agree with any opinions and why? So let's read the global issues. Income. At least 80% of people in the world live on less than $10 a day. However, in developing countries, the figure is much higher. 95% live on less than $10 a day. I agree that it's an imperfect world. The problem is that the poor get poorer and the rich get richer. I think that people from rich countries ought to give more money, more of their income in aid. Number 2, water. We should all try to use less water, especially people living in the US, because they use an incredible amount of water. However, at least 1 billion people in the developing world can't get enough water, and over 2.5 billion don't have proper toilets. Number 3, children. In my opinion, the Chinese policy of one family, one child has been very successful. Other countries should think about doing the same. I believe in population control. In fact, 24,000 children a day die because of poverty. Many of them in poor villages in remote parts of the world. And 8 million children under the age of 5 die every year from diseases which we can treat. Number 4, energy. 1/4 of the world's population lives without electricity, including over 500 million people in Africa alone. However, there's lots of sun in Africa and it's free, so people ought to use it. Energy. The developing world should use more solar power. So let's start with number 1. So the first part is fact. Why? Because we have percentages, we have money being spent. This is a fact. Number 2, if somebody says, I agree that it's an imperfect world, this is a person's opinion. So number 1 is the fact, second part is the person's opinion. Water. We should all try to use less water, especially people living in the US, because they use incredible amount of water. This is someone's opinion. However, at least 1 billion people in the developing world can't get enough water, and over 2.5 billion don't have proper toilets. This is fact. This is a fact because they're using numbers. They're telling us exactly how much water or how many people. So here we can see the first one even says, in my opinion. So the first part is opinion. First part is opinion, the second part is the fact. Why is it fact? Because in fact 24,000 children a day, we have numbers saying exactly how many. On the energy side, the first part, 1/4 of the world's population. This is the fact part. The second part, however, there's lots of sun in Africa, that's just a person's opinion. How can there be lots of sun in one place? The sun shines everywhere. So, here we have the facts and the opinions. Number 3, are you surprised by any of the facts in the text, and why? Do you agree with any of the opinions, and why? So I want you to go read through everything, think clearly about everything, and then in Friday's online meeting, we will be discussing the global issues. We will be discussing the different global issues. Okay, thank you everybody. You can put away your textbook. Put away your textbook.